Welcome to Free Burn. This is Matt Ballard, your host. This is the podcast where we talk all things mental and behavioral health in the first responder community. Real life firefighters, police officers, EMTs and paramedics, clinicians, and doctors. It's time we have the real conversation and burn the stigma behind first responder mental health, one podcast at a time. Welcome back, folks. I'm Matt Ballard, your host, Free Burn 2023. We are here today sitting down with Craig Bentley, 17-year veteran for the Denton Fire Department, Firefighter Paramedic. He's also the VP of their Denton Firefighter Association Local 1291. He's the lead for the Denton Fire Peer Team. Thank you, brother, for joining us today. And look forward to hearing your story.
I appreciate being on.
You bet, brother. Did I leave anything out on the bio you might want to add?
Married for 14 years. 2 girls. We just did our last school meeting with meet the teacher last night with one of our senior, and then we have an 8th grader also. So
yeah, I've got 3 girls, bro. So I know how that is. There's a lot of estrogen in the house, right?
It's a lot, isn't it?
Holy crap, man.
I wouldn't have it any other way, though.
No, man. I love my girls, bro. I wouldn't even know what to do with a boy, I guess, if I had a son now. But all my kids are pretty much grown. My youngest is she's 17 now, so she's getting close to being done.
13 and 17. I'm still glutton for punishment.
Yeah, brother. I hear you. Awesome, man. Well, man, I'm glad you're on. I'm looking forward to hearing your story and your journey to healing. I think we're all still in that journey, but being on this side seems to be a little bit better, right?
A lot better.
Yeah. So yeah, dude, when you're ready to get into that story, that journey, let's get it.
Cool. Well, like Matt said, I've been with Denton for 17 years. I volunteered, worked in another fire department. And I'm an alcoholic. It's not something that I wasn't always an alcoholic. That's the thing that on our side, on the peer side, that's what I want to push out to people is like, we change with the job. And that's, every call, it doesn't have to be a traumatic call or anything like that. The job changes you over the years. So I didn't really have a big affinity for alcohol. Of course, high school years, all that good stuff. I got married right out of high school and college. 10 years later, we got divorced, and still, just the normal party and stuff like that. But it caught up to me, and there's a lot of stuff that they didn't tell us, back when we started.
Right.
That we're trying to tell the people now. And, it's okay to talk. It's okay to be the guy that's like, I just had a problem with that call, or that call really sucked, or, that stuff. So that's kind of where we're pushing now. I guess the first time I really used alcohol as a crutch was, and it affected a ton of our guys. It was a pretty bad wreck on 380. I still got the phones on the pictures and stuff like that of the newspaper and the article and the news headline and everything like that on my phone, and it pops up. And it was I don't know, it was how many years ago it was, but a lady and family got head on with a 1-ton service truck.
Yeah.
And went through the wreck. We were on the far side of the station, the far side of the city. We finally get there on the hazmat call. And, we have this, I don't know, she was 7 or 8 years old, perfectly intact, looked fine, but she ended up having internal decapitation. And
man,
just, in the back seat.
Yeah.
No entrapment, nothing around her. She had her seatbelt on, everything like that. And that just killed me. My daughter was about the same age as her at that time.
Yep.
And
personalization there.
Oh yeah, it hit home,
Yeah.
and it didn't. I didn't I didn't realize it hit home like it did until 3 days later.
Right.
So we get there, do our stuff. There's I don't know, it was one of these days it was 110, and we're sitting there waiting for the coroner to show up. He gets there, and I help him move her out on the tarp, and he does all his stuff and everything right there. And it's just something that this is probably the first time I've talked about it that I'm not crying. My hands are sweating, and like, my heart rate's racing right now, and it's going crazy. But it really affected me. So
Sure.
get home the next day, and I don't know. I think I was drunk for 3 days after that.
Yeah.
Called in sick the next shift. Called and talked to my wife. Actually called and talked to our president, and he's on the peer team and stuff like that. And it's like, this is just, this is not him. This is something's up.
Yeah, something's going on.
Yeah, and that was my first time that, right after a scene, that's what I went to, because I did not know how to handle it.
How long were you on at that time? You remember on the department?
It was probably 10 years.
You'd had 10 years on at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and now, talking to other guys and stuff like that, and helping other people, it's about the 6 to 10 year mark where everything starts falling apart.
Isn't that crazy?
Everything, it starts catching up to you.
Yeah. I've seen that
so we
in
did that.
quite a few guys around that same time period, man.
It seems to be that mark.
Yeah.
And what we tell our rookies now, and what I tell them is, it's like, it's not just being a fireman. And I really think about the 6 to 10 year mark. You're now probably getting married, or you're married. You have younger kids, and so you have this life outside of the fire station, and everything that we do here, and then you're adding firemen on top of everything.
Yep.
And it's a lot after years and years and years of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're dealing with the same stressors everybody else does, right? Throughout life.
Yeah. Finances,
everything,
relationships.
And then you're throwing, quadruple the traumas that people normally see in their normal life, right?
Yeah.
On top of that, some people don't even see, maybe 1 or 2 traumas throughout their life. We're seeing hundreds sometimes, bad traumas.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and that's what
I get that.
Well, the fact of the matter, just like I saw my daughter in that spot of that car, laying on that tarp, and everything else, and it affected me. That call affected me different than anybody else.
Sure.
That didn't have a call, a daughter her age, or they've got boys, or they don't have any kids at all. And so we start talking about also is, what's a traumatic call? Well, a traumatic call to me might not be the same traumatic call to you, or the next guy in the seat over. And so it's really hard to watch and help our brothers and sisters as we go through this. And it's that checking up all the time. Like, hey, you okay? Like, hey, I know your mother just passed away, your grandmother just passed away, or whatever, and we just ran on a 90-year-old lady. That could have a huge effect on them.
Sure.
And so just stuff we need to watch out for.
Yeah. So you ran that call, started using alcohol as your avenue for suppressing stuff. What did that lead to? What else?
Yeah. So of course we do everything, alcohol it's okay by most all firemen,
Yeah.
We get out, get off shift, go to somebody's house, just to calm down or whatever after stuff. So, that's always a thing. Always did that. I was always there for, everybody's parties and functions. But it just seemed to keep getting worse and worse. So we had other family trauma. That's kind of where I got into the trauma, into this whole mental health thing. I saw the mental health aspects work for them. We did everything we could. We went and got counseling. We put them in, all that stuff. But as their lives change, and as I, do all the research and stuff like that, like me, you've talked about, put your head in the book and start reading and learning.
Sure. Yep.
Every new season that they have, it's something brings it up, and they might not know what it is because they were younger, but there's something they know something wasn't right.
Yeah.
And so my oldest, she had problems when she was younger. She started cutting, stuff like that. So we spent time away. My youngest, she came up to me one day, and me and my wife, she's like, "Hey, I just want to talk to you." It's like, okay, which is what the kind of relationship we want to have. And she's like, "I'm thinking about killing myself." I'm like,
"This was your youngest?"
"Yeah, this is my youngest." And she was in 3rd grade, 4th grade, something like that.
That's a tough one, bro.
And yeah, so she was. There was a kid in her class that just kept on. It's like, "Hey, you need to kill yourself. Hey, you need to kill yourself."
My kids have dealt with the same thing.
And it's, I don't remember being that way as a kid. I'm sure we were turds, but I don't remember being a turd that way. So we dealt with that with her. We ended up putting her in one of the academies over in Keller, and they specialize in that stuff. So, but they taught her all the coping skills that she needs, and she's a totally different kid. And it's amazing what they can do when they know the skills. And then I've stepped back and watched her like do everything she needs to do. Like if she has a bad day, she knows what she likes.
Right.
She knows how to cope. She knows I don't need to use anything. I don't need to get anybody's justification on it. I don't any of this stuff. She can take control of herself, and it's awesome watching her be able to do that.
Right.
So those were pretty hard.
Sure. That'd be hard for anybody, dude.
Yeah. So ended up me and my son don't talk. So that was a huge change.
Sure.
And then I went into, the depression and anxiety, not getting out of bed, everything else, just, don't answer the phone, don't want to talk to people, come to work. And, look, I'm normal. Like, I'm here for 24 hours. Let's go save some lives. Let's go do some stuff.
Sure.
Let's go have fun and get away from it. And
we're very good at hiding it, bro.
Very good. Nobody knew. And even up until the first time I told people that I was an alcoholic, I was 4 months sober, and everybody made justifications for me, like, "Oh, you've had a bad run. I'd be in the same. You need a drink. I can see why you drink," and everything else. They're making justifications for me. I was like, "No, it's not really what I need, or not what anybody needs.
Sure.
They need to learn how to sit and cope with this stuff, and not use alcohol or drugs or anything else to do it." I tell everybody my first addiction was being busy.
Being what?
Busy.
Busy. Yeah.
We got so busy with life, and we, me and my wife both went through this, and there for a while I was doing everything I'm doing now, plus HOA board, softball league commissioner and co-commissioner. Ended up going to umpire school for, like, I just had to stay busy.
Right.
And that was, that was probably my first addiction. And then it turned into busy wasn't good enough. So then we started drinking more.
Right.
And, it's a horrible path to go down,
Yeah. I was there on the busy end, dude. I mean, I had a lot of people, I hadn't said a whole lot about this, but I had a little side business that I started in 2013. And that was my busy, right? Kept my mind occupied, and I kept my head down, did the grind for several years until 2021 is when that kind of unfolded, when I went through the second time. And it was just time to step away from that. Ended up shutting that business down, and that was a huge stressor relief off of me, believe it or not. I mean, obviously that income was gone now, but
Right.
the Lord has a way of providing. So we're doing fine now. But I know what busy looks like as an addiction for sure.
It is, and you know, I did the same thing. I had my own company, and you know, but to be busy, I missed out on the kids.
Yep.
So I had that guilt that went along with it. It's like, if I was home, would this happen? Like I had, this is all stuff that, deep talk that into therapy and stuff like that I've done.
Sure. Yeah.
And to try to get away from it because, the guilt turns to anger. Anger just makes you an asshole.
Yep.
And, I'm sober. Tomorrow will be 500 days sober.
It's awesome, bro. Congratulations.
Thanks. But towards the end, I was that guy that I didn't recognize in the mirror. And, I've always heard people say that and not know what that meant. But, there's a little glimpse of you in the back of the mind that goes like, man, you were never this way. Like,
right.
You're jumping on people and, everything else. And, this is not the Craig that you are, put that way. You're not the best image of yourself at all.
Yep. It all sounds eerily familiar, right?
And
it does. It really does.
That's what. And everybody I talk to, it comes down to that breaking point, and you hit rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I hate cliches, but that's
exactly what it is.
Where I was. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
So I've dealt with that poorly, but so started my therapy and stuff like that with the girls, taking them, trying to take care of myself, and just trying to figure out, what the hell happened. And one of my biggest problems was, and what I notice a lot with guys in the program and stuff like that is, we're fixers. We want to fix everything.
Yep.
And then there's stuff in your life or stuff that happens to you that you can't fix.
100%.
And we don't know how to deal with it. Because we fix it. Like They call us. They call 911. Whatever it is, we fix it. They have a problem, we fix it.
Yeah.
Your buddy has a problem or your wife calls you or texts you, easy. Here's your solution.
Yep.
And then when you start trying to fix stuff yourself, it doesn't happen that way.
Mm-mm.
So
is that adage, like for me, it was like, I've been a medic. The second time I went through it, I've been a medic quite a while, firefighter medic. And, we're used to taking care of people, right? Or citizens. And then when you become a patient, it's a whole other story.
Yeah.
You can't fix yourself, right? So now that you're the patient, the shoe's on the other foot, so to speak. Yeah. So I know exactly what you're talking about there,
And we really don't want to ask anybody for help to fix
No.
us. I think we'd rather be miserable and crotchety and fight our own battles and try to go and ask for somebody to.
Sure.
Hey, can you help?
Yep.
Or I just need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
We don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to be showing that weak side.
Yep. And there's several things that play a part in that, right? I think.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is pride, a lot of it is ego, and then a lot of it is stigma. Yep. So if we can, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we work with the same guys 24/48, or, whatever your schedule is. And those guys look at you just like you look at them and be like, if you're good, awesome. But if you're bad, then we need to talk. Like, I'm depending on you in any situation to have my back and stuff like that. And I think us putting that out there, it might make them question, hey,
is he good?
If we go on a fire, are you going to be good? Or, what are we looking at? Or, where are you at today?
Sure.
And we see that, if you just sit around and watch people, you see people going through stuff like that, people that have changed a little bit. But we don't ask.
Yeah. I don't know why that is,
for the
man.
most part.
I hadn't figured that one out yet. Well, I mean, these are our brothers. We're with them hours. A third of our life, for the most part, is spent with them, brothers and sisters at the firehouse or police department, whatever it may be. But yet we're kind of shying away from asking those hard questions sometimes.
Yeah,
I think it's getting better, right? But we're not
I
there
think
yet.
so. No, we're way far away.
Yeah, we're still losing guys, man, guys and gals that are committing suicide that just feel like they don't have any other option, and that's just, it's got to stop, man. We got to figure this out, and make it a place to where they're comfortable for asking for help.
Right. It should be the norm.
Should be.
I mean,
hopefully we're going in that direction.
It's just like a hot wash. We get through something that you should have the opportunity to do it. And
yeah.
So we've really never done SISMs here, and I've done them 5 in the last couple of months. And the first thing, I pulled up and they were like, "All right, just let you know the guy's already pissed." Like, what? I hadn't even got in the building yet. They're like, "Doesn't matter. They're already pissed. They don't want to talk." I was like, "Why?" I was like, so he told me the reason why. And I was like, okay, whatever. I was like, I'll take care of it. So we got in, sat down, and started doing the SISM. And they're like, well, we heard it was mandatory. We had to be here. It's like, yeah, it's mandatory. You have to be here.
Yeah.
It's voluntary to talk. It's like, but just like on all the rest of the SISMs, you might have a question. Your buddy next to you might ask it, and you'd be like, I was going to ask that question. You really wouldn't, but but it starts the conversations and stuff. And then I think the biggest thing I saw with that is we went through and did. It was on another wreck, another MVA. We had like 24 people on scene. We ended up flying. There's problems with dispatch and problems with the location and everything else. And there was a whole lot of questions, and it was the questions that the guys were pissed off at, not the scene or, it was a 10-year-old boy, but besides that, they were more worried about everything that went wrong with the call.
Right.
So the whole time we were talking and going through the SISM, I'm taking notes on all the questions that they had. And I was like, all right. It's like, we're done. They're like, what do you mean we're done? It's like, y'all talk through it. Stuff. I've got all the questions I need. I was like, I'm going to use these questions, get back with you, and I'll get answers. I'll figure out what happened with dispatch, talk to them, why they, called the wrong helicopter. We went through the SISM. I wrote down all the questions, and they're like, where's all the emotional goody tooty, feel good, all the rest of this crap? I was like, I don't have any.
Yeah.
It's like we talked about, if you do have problems, if you have anything longer than 7 days, if we talked about that, but they were expecting me to come in and have like a therapy session with them.
Yeah, we're not therapists.
We're not. This is not what we do. Like, I want y'all to see the facts of everything. We had one. I did one with the PD and dispatch, and by the time we were all done, all 3 sides were just jamming out and like, oh, that's why y'all do this, and like we went down, all these kind of things.
It completes the story, right?
Yeah. There's not the what ifs. The what ifs don't happen.
It's awesome how it works.
I told him, I was like, it's the what ifs that you carry with you. Like, you might see that image and everything on the call and stuff like that, but it's all the what ifs that, like, what if we were 2 minutes faster?
Yeah.
Or what if we'd have got the tools out and cut here instead of there? And like, so we try to dissect everything, and from everybody's opinions, you can build a full story.
Sure.
And that seems to help a ton. And everybody's like, oh, that wasn't that bad, because it wasn't anything that they were expecting it was going to be.
Right.
So we did, while I was going through therapy with the girls.
Yeah.
I used the Warriors Research Institute out
Okay.
of Waco.
Yep.
So if
What is her
people
name?
don't know about that, WRI. Well, so it's a bunch of, I guess, doctorate students that are going through their program, the psychology program there. And so
Gulliver.
they got,
Dr. Gulliver. You remember that name?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they got a grant to see how telehealth will help first responders.
Yeah.
And if there's any plausible, help with it and stuff like that, which, a lot of my guys that I talk to, they don't want to drive to therapists and they don't want to, be seen around the office and they don't, stuff like that. Well, if you give them a telephone and like a Zoom call, and you can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
I would take my kids to school and I would do my therapy visit in the parking lot, waiting for them or dropping them off and sit there for an hour and talk to the therapist on the,
How
over
was
Zoom.
that?
It
How
was
was that for you?
good. It was,
Yeah.
it had a different feel than going into the therapist's office,
Mm-hmm.
but the convenience was there. These are all med students or, psychology students. And so we did a bunch of cognitive stuff,
Yep.
which was great. It's what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of got to see stuff that way.
Right.
So
Interesting.
carrying on, and it's free. So, I think the program's still going on. Last time I checked, I've sent a couple people that way that you just go to the Warriors Research Institute, click the link, tell them, fill out the stuff, and they do their internal documentation and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
get you admitted, and they'll pair you up with a counselor, and
it's funny you say that because the second time that I went through this, I found them online and contacted them. And about the time that I started getting ready to do some stuff with them, I found out about 3FTL and ended up going through 3FTL. But that was the first one that I had found just doing the research on my own was that Warriors Institute out of Waco. So yeah.
Yep. It was awesome for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, the convenience and just being able to do it from whenever, that's a whole lot.
Right. How long did you do that?
I did that for, probably 6 months.
Yeah.
Or so.
Still on duty?
Yeah, still on duty, still doing everything, still not telling anybody.
Yeah, nobody knew.
No. So, that's a good thing and a bad thing. The bad thing about not telling anybody is you don't have any support.
Yeah.
Locally.
Mm-hmm.
So, so there's always that aspect, when you want to tell somebody, you just want to reach out and just scream your head off.
Sure.
And just get it out, but you're just hiding from yourself and everybody else.
Yeah.
That makes it even harder.
Mm-hmm.
But they were awesome. I definitely, it's an asset I would use again, or I'd send somebody else to.
Sure.
Especially if they still got that program going on.
Yeah, I think they still do.
The going forward, the next part of my journey, I got a lot of little journeys here. A lot of seasons in my life. So coming up December 30th of 2019, we get called out for a water rescue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's north of town, out in the middle of nowhere. We're going to the grocery store, just got done. Got the call, got out there. So we're first on by miles and miles. Our medic was with us. So I was on a Quint. So we had 4 guys. So the call came in as canoe capsized, 3 people in the water. Mm-hmm. And, not knowing where we are, is kind of out in the county, away from everything. It's a lake.
Yeah.
You pull up on Google Maps and it's actually the lake. I can't even remember what the name of it is, but it's not a pond. It's pretty good sized lake. So we get there, figure out that we got some people waving. We get down there. Pretty much we'd already kind of made a game plan pulling up, like get the throw bag, get your life vest, kick your boots off, and jump in. And
Yeah.
this is 40 degrees outside. The water's 42.
Mm-hmm.
The wind is blowing. The whole lake is just white capping.
Right.
And so we get to the bank, and the wind is blowing them away from us towards the other bank, and there's no other way to get to the other bank. So me and two other firemen jumped in. One got tethered, but the tether was way too short. It didn't help.
Yeah.
We got out there in the middle of it, and there was no way to get pulled back in. So about halfway out there, I started having this bad thought, like, damn, was this the right decision? Like, I can't feel my feet and my legs. I'm in my total uniform except for my boots.
Yeah.
And, and here we are. So I was like, so we got to, this is, they've been in the water longer than us. And so we got to make this move. So we finally get there.
Quick. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of hurry in this swimming we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I get there, and I can't remember about the kids, if they were getting into the canoe. Somebody found the canoe and had brought it back, and but the father was already floating. So I swim up to him, put him up on the side of the canoe, and try to do some chest compressions and just anything. And it's the only thing I know could do, and I ended up ripping my shoulder and tearing it up. So we get the two kids back in the canoe. One fireman gets in the canoe with them, and me and Muskie are swimming and pushing the canoe, and I'm carrying him on my left side back to the shore, and it's another 100-yard swim back to the bank. And by then, more people had started getting there. I think we're in the water 8 or 9 minutes, something like that, for the total haul.
Wow.
And I knew I screwed up. I knew, like, as soon as I was coming out of the water, like, my lats are burning and everything, and my shoulder just numb, and I can't hardly move my arm. And I was like, this is bad already. So they get the dad off and the kids off in the medics. They put us in a medic. We go to the hospital, stuff like that. So we ended up having rhabdo, and just they ended up giving us warmer fluids and everything else, trying to warm us up.
Right.
And it's pretty.
That's pretty wild.
Pretty wild. Yeah, pretty wild. Especially when you're going to be there for a long time, and there's nobody else to help.
Sure.
Your game plan was, you're tethered off, get out there, and they pull you back in.
Right.
And now that doesn't work because you're way too far out. So ended up finally getting an MRI with our work comp system, which is a whole nother interview.
Yep.
We could do. It ended up being 6 months later, pretty much, by the time they let me get an MRI and everything. They made me do PT and all that stuff. And
MRI your shoulder.
Like, oh yeah,
is that what it was? Yeah, your shoulder. Yeah.
So they let me stay on shift, but as soon as they got the MRI, they're like, "Oh no, you're off." Yeah. So I had a slap tear, 3 tears across my rotator cuffs, and that was it at that time.
Yeah.
So finally get to a surgeon. He fixes it. Everything's good. A month and a half later, in PT, my bicep rips. And it was just a simple exercise, coming down like that and just doing this, and the PVC pipe, just my hand and everything, arm just gave out. So we kind of thought that was weird. Went back, saw the orthopedic. He was like, yeah, did some x-rays and everything else. And he's like, I think it's fine, but you might have a little infection or something like that in there. Ended up having a lot of infection. So it actually broke through a week or so later. And then I had to go back in for surgery.
Yeah.
Ended up going 14 times for debridement and stuff like that. So 14 different surgeries. Spent 90 days in hyperbarics. I did almost 4 months in the hospital, in and out from every time, because it's just making me sicker and sicker and sicker.
Yeah.
And all the time, it was COVID.
Yep.
COVID was nice enough to make the Drizzly app, so I could actually get my alcohol delivered to the hospital.
You serious? Wow.
And walk down and pick up a Whataburger, and it's me with my ass hanging out of my gown, and I've got my antibiotic pole and everything else, and
Holy
fluids,
cow, bro.
walking down, and then they meet you in the lobby and they're like, here's your Whataburger, and then another guy's like, all right, here's your bottle. I was like, man, this is all right. I don't even have to.
That is wild,
quit.
dude.
That's if there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it was, it's funny now. It's really not funny, but it's
you can laugh on this side of it, right?
Yeah, I
it's
can.
It's a serious thing, but you can laugh on it on this side of it for sure.
So it was, take it back upstairs and put it in my locker in the room, and when the nurses aren't around, drink a little bit, and just sit around and do nothing. But I was ended up switching doctors finally to a different hospital, everything else, and because got septic, all that good stuff. And he ended up pulling all the old stuff out that other doctor had left in, and finally the infection cleared up and went away.
Yeah.
But now all this on this side on my shoulder, I've still got a 4 centimeter tear in the front part of the head. My biceps still, like everything hanging by a thread. That's kind of where all this stuff is.
Yeah.
So it ended up changing my life drastically in my lifestyle.
Right.
I was talking to the PA, and I liked her. She was awesome. But she was like, hey, this is why I was still with the first doctor. She's like, hey, did the doctor come in and talk to you? I was like, no. It's like, well, I got bad news for you. I was like, okay. She's like, well, we screwed up your tattoo. And I was like, I got a sleeve all the way up to here and everything else. She's like, okay. And she's like, and you're not going to be a fireman anymore.
Oh, no.
And that's what I said. I was like, huh? She's like, yeah, the infections ate a bunch of the tissue and tendon and muscles and everything that you have in your shoulder, and you probably won't be, a fireman anymore. And that was a wow moment.
Same thing happened to me.
And
they told me that
that's scary.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want anybody to tell you that, obviously, but when you're going through crap already, and then somebody tells you, hey, you might as well just retire. I mean, this is not going away. You're going to have to deal with this for the rest of your life. If there's nothing else you can do. I mean, you're talking about put you in a low spot. I know it can.
A very low spot. This is, I love being a tow board.
Sure.
I haven't promoted for a reason. I love doing what we're doing. I love, this side of it. And it was just ground shaking, and it just shattered everything. And, I was 40. I was doing CrossFit competitions. I was in the best shape of my life. I was, besides the girl incidents and stuff like that, everything was going good at that time. And this happens. And just, So it pulls me out of the station, pulls me away from my guys, it changes my schedule. For the year and a half or 2 years, I was in the hospital back and forth and, away from here. Luckily enough, the city let me do light duty work, and because they knew it was going to end up being long-term light
Right.
duty. And so what I'm doing now is quartermaster for, the fire department.
Right.
And so that was a blessing in itself. And they were awesome. And but still, like, I couldn't go to the stations. Like, everybody's like, come to the station, come say hi, stuff like that. And then you get there, and then the tones drop, and you're like,
Yeah.
I want to
Tough.
go. I want to do this.
Yep.
And if I do go, then I get to stand there, and
Mhm.
I don't want to just stand there. So I started
Right.
avoiding the stations. I didn't want to hear the tones drop, and watch trucks roll out the door without me on them. And I, the running joke is, I identified as a fireman. That's what I wanted to do. That's where I wanted to be.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
there was nothing else.
Yeah.
And it lent to more drinking and, sadness, bitterness, anger, all these emotions that they teach you in therapy that you have that you don't know you
Right.
have.
Yep.
And it just, it's hard. It's still hard. I'm thankful for where I'm at now, but it's not what I want to do. It's not
Yeah.
where I want to be.
So what was the break point to where you're like, enough is enough?
The break point was, well, the years and stuff like that. My wife's always said, you need to quit, you need to slow down, stuff like that. Yeah, whatever. It's the same thing. You hear it and you put it back because, at the time you don't have a problem.
Right.
You ask most of the firemen, you're like, they're alcoholics. They say no because we quit drinking every third day.
Right.
Because they're on
Mm-hmm.
shift.
Yep.
So that's, I was doing what everybody else was doing, is, kind of what I thought.
Yep.
But I couldn't stop. And that ended up being my thing. It was, once you drink, I couldn't just drink 1 or 2 beers.
Right.
It was all the beer, and then I developed a taste for whiskey, and
Mm-hmm.
then that was even worse. And, justification, I've already tried this, so I'll try something else. And so we learned ways and tricks, and it doesn't look like we're drinking a lot, but we bought 4 or 5 different brands of,
Sure.
whiskey or beer or whatever. So nobody knows how much you're drinking because there's always new bottles. And, there's a lot of things I look back and see, and talking to guys in the group, and we all do it. And we justify the hell out of
Sure.
drinking.
Yeah.
They're finding ways to do it.
Yep. That's for sure.
So my last, one of the parties I was at, same thing. I wasn't the guy. The anger was coming out, stuff like that. So, that wasn't me. And the night before my last surgery, I was drunk at 6 o'clock that morning, the day before, and by myself on my porch, and whatever it was, and I think it was God. It's the only thing it can be, because I wasn't ready to quit drinking.
Right.
Try and try again, or try to slow down or do something else or anything. And my wife was up, and we were having a discussion, and I was like, fine, I'm done. She's like, what? She's like, I'm done. I went and I grabbed every bottle I had and all the beer out of the refrigerator and everything else, and went on the garage side and threw it into the air as far as I could.
Yep.
And watch it crash.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a hell of a mess the next morning. But it worked.
Yep.
Whatever it was, that was God kicking me in the butt. And, you know, that was my lowest of the low. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really believe you have to have it to successfully quit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got to be for yourself.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was for myself.
Mm-hmm.
It made my wife happy, made my kids happy. You know, my 12-year-old, she was 12 then, or 11 then. And she's like, I know what I'm getting you for Christmas, Dad. I was like, what? She's like, I just saw this commercial for a lifetime whiskey supply or something like that. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
Damn it. Like,
yeah.
Like, that's not the dad I want to be. I don't want to be the dad, you know, that their kid thinks that, you know, that's
Gotta
what you
have
are.
a lifetime whiskey supply. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
So a lot of things, you know, came to fruition then, but it's definitely a godsend. I called Dr. T because I'd went to some of her sessions and stuff like that and talked to her a bunch about the peer team and everything.
And y'all already had an established peer team at this time, right?
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know. It had kind of dropped off.
Yeah.
And so after me going through this with my girls and seeing that, I got more interested in it. So I went to one of Dr. T's 3-day events
Right.
in Frisco.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to her talk and everything. And I was like, man, this is interesting. Like, I dig this. This is awesome. And then doing more and more reading and research and listening to people talk and everything like that. And I think that's when it kind of helped me figure out that I had a problem. But now I know why I have a problem, because she laid it all out there, like in fireman language, where you can understand what has been happening to you for 16 years. You know, going through all the calls and all this stuff and everything we see and the life and the injuries and everything. And so that was a huge help. So I called her the next morning after 6, and I told her, I was like, all right, I'm ready to go to a program. I was like, send me to the Center of Excellence, whatever. I just need somebody to sign off on it. And she's like, well, let's hold off. Let me get you in touch with Jen at 3FTL.
Yep.
And I'm like, perfect. Whatever you say, I'll trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And got with Jen, and man, it's been right ever since.
Yep.
3FTL program, for people that don't know, to me, it's a systematic approach from all different angles to get the fireman, the first responder right.
Yep.
You know, they do the physical, they do the blood work, they do the mental side, you're surrounded by your peers, no matter what side you're in. If you're in the addiction or you're in the peer team, or, you know, you've got all these avenues and people to talk to, and the group aspect works. And first time I worked in Mike's class, and I didn't want to get out of the car.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you got to go. You know, it's something that I require all our stuff. It's an addiction class. It's kind of like AA, I guess.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about AA really. And just sitting in that parking lot and being like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. I don't know, you know, there's other firemen there, and there's, you know, everything else. And finally got enough courage to walk in and met Mike Martin. He's over the 614 group.
Okay.
And he's like, all right, so what's your goal? My goal is to quit drinking. Perfect. That's where we need to start. And you know, like I said, tomorrow's 500 days, and I wouldn't be where I'm at now if it wasn't for them and the program.
Something worked, right?
Yes, it worked, and I've seen it work, and I help teach now in that group, facilitate, and
it's awesome, dude.
we have it here in Denton, and then so it's me helping other guys going through the same problem that I went through, or even if it's not even the same problem, it's in the realm of the same problem.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some kind of addiction that we've grabbed a hold on to that it's our coping mechanism, or
sure.
And
isn't it crazy, man?
Takes
how
guys.
It's like there's a lot of similarities, right, in the stuff that we've dealt with and done with the traumas and stressors and everything else. There's a lot of similarities there, but the difference comes in with those things that we use to smash that stuff down, whether it's alcohol, drug addiction. I mean, you name it. There's a number of things. Like alcohol wasn't mine, right? I think mine was more anger, acting out, just being pissed all the time. And that was my avenue of offloading a lot of that stuff. And a lot of it was isolation for me. I would just shut down, just leave me alone. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't be around anybody, and then it was like going and burying my head in my second business and just doing the ostrich thing, sticking my head in the sand and just ignoring everything that I was going through, kind of thing. So that's what it was for me. And then having to work through all that with EMDR therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, and everything else that's what it took to get me out of that. So, yeah.
Yeah. EMDR is awesome.
Dude, it's phenomenal. It's
It,
crazy.
It is.
It's weird. But
yeah. I would not have believed it worked and at all. Like I told my therapist, I was like, if I wake up and I hear a bell and I start clucking like a chicken, like we're going to talk. She's like, no, it's not anything like that. It's not hypnosis or anything. She's like, nope. It's like, all right. It's like, I don't want none of this other crap. She's like, just trust me. That's all you got to do is trust me. And, the story of the little girl, we discussed that and we did the EMDR on it for 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And before I finally quit having that physiological
reactions and
feelings, not crying and not, I still sweat and my heart races and stuff like that, but it's not as gut wrenching as, as it was before the EMDR.
Yeah. And I've said that in other episodes, it never goes away, right? Those traumas never leave you.
No.
You just learn how to deal with them in a better way. But yeah. It's weird, but it works. Very effective.
It does. It's great. And, just people, and we all have scenes like that. I ran a call here, or I ran a call there, or I saw this at this house, or hey, you remember this other place? And there's always that. I think one day we went through, and it was a weird thing where your brain takes you, but we ended up going through like 12 different calls in one session because that's the way my brain was. It had tied like all these calls together. And, they said, that your cup's overflowing. It actually showed itself like, they had nothing to do with each other. They were just calls, but it's all stuff that just built up and built up and built up. And
for me, man, it was like there was stuff that came through that I never even realized that they bothered me. There were things that I just forgot completely about that came back up, and somehow they were just tied together some way, with other traumas and stuff. It was just completely crazy, man. But
I'm glad
I'm on the other side.
Right.
Thank God. Way better,
Yeah. Yeah. We're, it takes a lot to get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
It does.
It was really uncomfortable for a long time.
Yeah.
And, I didn't know, we knew the emotions were anger and love, and that was about it.
Yeah.
And there's so much other things in, the grief and guilt and all that stuff, which like you said, I was angry, and it could have been any of those things. It just shows up as anger, and that's because we know how to express anger.
Yep.
That doesn't make us feel vulnerable. You can get mad and upset, and
yep.
But it's It's crazy. Very crazy.
It's good to be on this side of it. I can tell you that. Not saying that we don't still go through stuff, because we do, right?
Oh
Talked
yeah.
about that on some other podcasts. You know, we still go through stuff. We still see the stuff that we've seen, you know, throughout our careers. But having the resiliency to be able to deal with that stuff and bounce back, that's what the resiliency is all about. Having those avenues of, you know, whatever it may be, whether it's going fishing or, you know, whatever that
Yeah.
takes to get you out of that. So
A good coping mechanism.
yes, exactly. That's what I was looking for. So yeah,
We got plenty of bad stuff. We need the
sure
good
we
coping
do.
mechanisms.
Yeah.
But like I said, my daughter, you know, she learned all that stuff. That they taught her that stuff. This is stuff, you know. I don't know why you have to go to a special school to learn this. This is all stuff that everybody in the world could use,
Yeah.
and we could use it. You know, we need it way more.
Yeah.
Just for everything else.
Yep.
And so yeah, like you're doing rookie schools and stuff like that, dude. I think that's awesome. That's
Yeah. Dude, we haven't
next
even
week
scratched the surface yet, right?
No,
I haven't even scratched
no,
the surface yet with this. I don't think we have. Well, maybe we've
no,
scratched the surface, but we're just now starting to take that deep dive into what the heck is really going on. You know, why these brothers and sisters losing their lives to suicide and feeling like they have no other avenue but that. That's my biggest question. Is like, I've been there, bro. I mean, I was close. You know what I'm saying? And I'll admit that.
Yep.
But man, how do you change it? How do we change it? Like what we're doing now, I think, is where it's got to start talking about
it. Yep.
Yeah.
And then the more people learn about it,
yeah,
the more people learn about what's
education.
normal and what's not normal.
Yep.
Like, you have a bad call, you feel this way, normal, perfect.
Yep.
That's exactly what we want you to do.
Mhm.
Process it, but if it's lingering, if it's
there 72
2 weeks,
hours, 2 hours,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. If you're having nightmares and you're, if it's coming up, if it's recurring over and over and over, that's not normal.
Yeah.
And that's where you need to be like, hey, I just need to have help with this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And once you see that the therapy works and you see that, there is hope and this, there's people out there that know what they're doing and know how to help us take care of ourselves.
Yep.
And it's going to open your world up.
Yeah.
And, I think that's, you doing it with the rookies and probationary kids and stuff like that. We do our rookie night next week. It's pretty much the same thing. I tell my story, then I have Jen and I have a therapist come in and I give them the shock part, and then Jen and them teach them, the mechanics of your emotions and coming off of calls and,
yeah,
being tired all the time and working all the time and,
mm-hmm.
Little things and we do it with the wives and girlfriends and boyfriends and parents and stuff like that there.
Yeah,
that
need
way
to hear it too.
They can hear it and know, hey, my husband's not acting right. He's been there for a year and a half, and be willing to call us and be like, hey, you just might want to check on him. Mm-hmm. That's all I need. I don't need anything else but just a hint to go and, just have a conversation with the person.
Yep. Simple as that. And really is. So that's where it starts.
It is. Like, I don't need to know all your problems, but I want to know if you're okay. Like, yeah. And then what can I do to help?
Yeah. We're not therapists.
No.
But we're brothers that go through the same crap and can identify with that, right? And say, yep, sometimes you can, sometimes you may not. But
yeah,
the times that you may not, you may know somebody that does, that you can send that person to or whatever. Or send them to a counselor to get help if it deems that,
Yeah.
It's about
because I'd much rather help people before they get to where I was.
Sure.
Or get to the point where they're fixing to lose their job or their wife or their kids or lose the lifestyle. Like, it's, there's a big realm of stuff in there. One of the last classes I took, it was, I started Christian counseling classes and stuff like that, and it was 11 years is what the typical trauma response is between the time they have a trauma to the time that they actually ask for help.
Really?
And
it's wild, man.
It's like, you know how much stuff you can pack on in 11 years?
Fill that cup up.
Yeah.
Really fast. Way before 11 years.
Yeah,
way
before
that. Yeah. That's
so
wild.
If we can help them before they get to the, to get to the point where they're fixing to screw up everything,
mm-hmm.
and why it's little bitty baby problems, let's fix it there.
Yeah. That's cool, brother. So yeah, man.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I look forward to working with you, brother. On stuff like this. So let's for sure stay in touch and bounce off each other's stuff. And if you need me for resources, I'm here, man. Anything.
That's what
matter.
Yeah. So we've started talking to other Denton County Fire Departments, stuff like that. Trying to make it more of a network.
Yeah.
Instead of just a standalone, like us in Louisville and Little Elm and other places,
Right.
We try to get together once or twice, a quarter, and have discussions and figure out trainings or any classes. Like, that's where it needs to be. It needs to be us as a whole total fire department network, not just your smaller department trying to figure out how to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to bond together.
I don't want to recreate the wheel. Yeah, for sure. It's too important.
So y'all's peer team, you're doing a little fundraiser still, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're selling. We just got our brand new green engine for UNT Station 3. We're selling those for $25 a shirt. So
how do they?
We don't have.
Go ahead.
I just now got a new link, so I'll be posting that on our association's Facebook page and Instagram page.
What's
anybody
the page?
Else?
Denton Fire. What?
Denton DFFA 1291. Denton Firefighters Association. So that's on both association or Instagram and Facebook. So,
and those proceeds go where to peer team?
So they go directly to peer team. So we don't have a line out of budget. So we're selling these shirts to make some money and to help pay for, we just hired 21 new guys.
Yeah.
So some of this money will go to these 2 classes that we're having next week and help them figure out everything. So,
yeah. So no funding.
Hopefully no funding.
Right now.
Yep.
You're running this thing, or y'all are running this thing just bare bones as
we can. Yeah. So, but
sometimes you got to do what you got to do, bro.
Man, it works.
Yep. You got to make it work, man.
More effort.
Yeah.
But I know. I think everything will turn out good.
Yeah. Them guys are lucky to have you there, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So somebody that's been through it and is passionate about it, like I feel like you are, just from talking to you outside of this too. Yeah. They're lucky to have you there, brother.
I appreciate it. No, I think everything you're doing is awesome. This is one step in the right direction, that's for sure.
It takes an army, man. All of us together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I got them on the north side. You got them on the south side. So let's
there you go. Let's
keep on going.
Keep doing it, man. Well, do you got anything else you want to add in, brother?
Man, that's it. I'll give you all my information. If anybody else wants to reach out, and I don't have to just talk to my guys. I can talk to any guys that are out there.
100%.
Sometimes it's way easier to talk to a stranger. So you're not alone. That's the main point of everything we do now is once you figure out you're not alone, it makes it more tolerable.
Sure does. So
yeah, if anybody needs any help, reach out.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, man, for coming on and making yourself vulnerable and sharing that story with us. Means the world to me, brother, because people need to hear it. It's going to touch somebody. It could touch.
Right.
You never know, man. Somebody needs to hear that story. And that's what we're here for. So, yeah. Anybody out there is struggling with suicidal thoughts or in crisis, 988 is a suicide crisis lifeline. Give them a call if you don't feel like you can talk to them. give us a call, Freeburn 2023 on all of our platforms, and freeburn2023@gmail.com is our email. We can find you resources. Brother Bentley here, he can find you resources. This is what it's all about, connecting those people together for resources. So we got to keep plugging, man. Got to keep plugging. So thank you, brother, for coming on.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
And let's keep in touch and keep burning that stigma down, one podcast at a time.
Heck yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you, man.
Yep. We'll see you.
Okay. Thanks for tuning in to the Freeburn 2023 podcast. If you or somebody you know is in crisis, reach out to the Suicide Crisis Lifeline at 988. Or if you're looking for counseling resources, contact us at freeburn2023@gmail.com. We'll do our best to get you to where you need to be. Let's keep burning that stigma, one podcast at a time.